Welcome back, guys, to the Lions Den Sports Podcast. I'm Chase Gispert,
And I'm Troy Allen.
and we're ready to bring you some more football content. This is Week 11 of the NFL season, but first and foremost, can't forget about the Southeastern Lions.
Exactly.
On a 3-game win streak. After that 0-7 start, the team has life again. 3 wins in a row. Just destroyed Texas A&M Commerce. What was the final score of that one, Troy?
52-7 or 10.
Something. Let's see. Let me make sure I'm getting this right. But why don't you go just talk about the overall performance while I look up the score.
Oh yeah. It was a great performance, all around too. Like I said, 52 points scored on Texas A&M Commerce, a season high so far. Just a great performance. And over the last 3 games, we're averaging 42 points per game. We put up 37 points against Northwestern. 2 weeks ago, we put up 38 points coming off of our bye against McNeese. And now last week, we put up 52, averaging 42 points per game on this winning streak. So, yeah, just a great overall late stage season push for us. Especially heading to Nichols. The team desperately needs some confidence. And I think heading to Nichols, we have that. Now, I checked the Southland standings. I think Nichols is officially the 1 seed.
Yes, they are. They've won. They've clinched the regular season title and the automatic bid to the FCS playoffs.
Yep.
I think UIW still has a chance of getting an at-large bid. I believe they're 7-2 or 8-2.
Yeah,
They
I think
lost
so.
to one FBS team, I think UTEP, and then their only loss to FCS opponents was at home to Nichols, which ultimately lost them the title. But I want to say they're still ranked, so they still have a shot. But yeah, Nichols already clinched the regular season, got the auto bid, but Southeastern can put a little dent in their resume.
Exactly.
Tomorrow. At Strawberry Stadium, the Riverbell Classic, I mean, it speaks for itself. The rivalry at 6 p.m. Y'all be there, please. 6 p.m. tomorrow night against Nichols. They're the Southland Conference champs, but hey, we're on a 3-game win streak, trying to go off ride high. This will be our last game. That's where we've been eliminated from the playoffs. But gotta give a shout out to Coach Selfo for riding the ship. I mean, obviously, still overall a disappointing season, but to not just have, I mean, at 0-7, it's kind of easy to just pack it in and say, all right, we're done this season. But to have some pride in those three letters, SLU, really kudos to them, taking care of business against Northwestern State, McNeese, A&M Commerce. Yes, all 3 of those teams not very good, but still, just to get 3 wins in a row and hopefully 4 against Nichols, I think we definitely have a fighting chance.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Nichols is 5-4. All 5 of their wins, though, are in the Southland Conference. They're 0-4 out of the conference. Already clinched, like I said, but hey, Riverbell Classic, the all-time series is 17-16, so it's a neck and neck. Southeastern lead 17-16. We won the conference on their home field
Last year.
And got the Riverbell Trophy. Interestingly enough, they've beaten us the last 2 times in Hammond and 3 of the last 4 in Hammond. So we need to protect Strawberry Stadium. Pack the berry, 6 p.m. Riverbell Classic against Nichols.
Yes, sir. And then heading on into some NFL top headlines of the week. We'll start with the Texans and Bengals game. That was a phenomenal game. Bengals nearly came back from down 10 points in the fourth quarter. However, Houston hung on behind another great C.J. Stroud game. I think he threw for like 350 yards, somewhere around there. Made big time throw at the big time throw. Went head to head with Joe Burrow too, and put together another game winning drive for the second straight week. And I saw this topic on like First Things First. And I was like, okay, I guess we can mention it on the podcast too. They was debating whether or not if CJ should be in like the MVP conversation and stuff like that. Is that too far fetched, especially considering he's a rookie, or is that something you agree with?
I think he should be. To me, this year there really isn't a just standout like runaway MVP candidate at this moment. I know you see the names like Mahomes and Hurts, but to me, I mean, I don't even think Mahomes has really had that great of a season. I
Nah,
know their
nah.
record's good, but he's kind of just playing. I mean, he's definitely not playing anywhere close to what he's done in the past. So I don't think he's an MVP. Hurts, he's played better. He's turned the ball over some. Tua hasn't been able to beat the big team. So I don't see why C.J. Stroud shouldn't be in the middle of that MVP race.
Yeah, I agree.
And
Especially
certainly it appears he's got Rookie of the Year locked
Oh
up.
yeah, easily. But yeah, I do agree. He deserves to be in that conversation. I mean, nearly 3K passing yards and a 15-2 INT.
Yeah, 2 interceptions as a rookie. I
Yeah.
mean, that is insane. Like some of the all-time greats, like Peyton Manning. I mean, he was throwing a pick almost every game his first year with the Colts. So
Exactly.
I mean, that's not anything to to scoff at.
Exactly. And speaking of someone who throws a lot of interceptions, our next topic, our next big headline: Bills get upset by Broncos. They lost on Monday Night Football on what many thought would be a very bad game, but it turned out to be somewhat exciting, especially especially towards the end of the game. I believe the final score was 24-22. Broncos won. Russ had a good game, very clean game. Took a couple of nasty sacks, but overall a good game. On the season, 18-4 TD to INT ratio. Compared to Allen, he had 2 total touchdowns, but 2 picks in last night's or on Monday night game. And as a result, the Bills did fire their OC Ken Dorsey on Tuesday.
I mean, I think he deserves some criticism too, the OC, but yeah, Josh Allen's got to take a lot of the blame since he's come into the league. I mean, this is staggering stats. Since he's come into the league in 2018, he has led the NFL in interceptions each of those seasons. So that's what 3, 4, 5. This is 6 years now running.
6 straight years.
I mean, and he's just a couple years ago, even last year, I know he was being talked about in the same breath as Patrick Mahomes and even Joe Burrow for best QB in the league. He's definitely not there. The turnovers is just a glaring issue. Yes, he has talent. He's big. He could run. He's athletic. He's got a bazooka of an arm. But, I mean, you can't overlook the turnovers. That's what loses you games. The Bills are 5-5 right now. They went 13-4 last year in the regular season.
Exactly.
So, something's got to change.
Yeah.
I'd like for them to run the ball more. I mean, not just because I have James Cook on my fantasy team, but still, like, I've just, over the years, it seems like they just rely on Josh Allen. And I know he's 6'5", he's huge, but why would you put what you think's your franchise quarterback? I mean, I still think he is. The turnovers are glaring issues. He's got to clean that up.
Oh, 100%.
But he leads the league with 11 interceptions and also leads the league in lost fumbles this year. It's really been a disaster. He does have 19 touchdowns, which I think lead the league, but it's just like good and bad with him. He's got to get rid of the turnovers.
And then real quick, their schedule for the rest of the year is pretty tough. They play the Jets on Sunday.
Must-win game, I feel.
Yeah, exactly. Especially considering they lost to them the first game of the season.
And they don't want to fall below 500.
Yep. And then after that, they play Eagles, Chiefs, Cowboys. Wow. They get 2 breaks with the Chargers and Patriots, and the last game of the season is at Miami.
Wow.
So their schedule is tough, sitting at 5-5.
That is really tough because I mean the Chargers are still in the wild card chase. I mean they're still talented. Honestly, the only easy game, and it's the NFL, so nothing's easy, is the Patriots. But didn't they lose to the Patriots?
Yes, they did
in New England. So I mean. And the Patriots are 2-8. That's one of their only wins. So, yeah, very tough schedule now that you read that out. They got to figure out something fast. But also, I'd like to give credit to Sean Payton and Russell Wilson. You mentioned 18-4 TD interception ratio for Russ. Let him cook. That's impressive. I mean, they had a terrible start to the year. Really, the low point was undoubtedly losing 70-20 to the Dolphins. Just saying that out loud is crazy. But they've really rallied the troops. They're 4-5. They got a huge showdown with the Vikings on Sunday Night Football in Denver. If they could win that and get to 5-5, that would be huge. But yeah, moving on. My Saints lost to the Vikings. Should have known. Josh Dobbs just went off. He's been a great story though this year.
Really has.
I mean, he balled some on the Cardinals. They're just not a very good team. But then since he's been on the Vikings, and this is without Justin Jefferson, they possibly get him back this week. I mean, they're as hot as anyone right now, making a late playoff surge and still in the hunt for that division. I think they're only a game and a half behind Detroit.
Yep.
I mean, yeah, kudos to Josh Dobbs. Has been a journeyman really his whole career, but really great guy. He's a what is he? I know he's super smart. What's it, some sort of engineer? Like
Yeah. I think if he wasn't like a football player, he was gonna like work for NASA or something like that. So like he's extremely smart.
He's a brilliant guy. I mean, he's been a great story. Then moving on, the Browns come back from 24-6 in Baltimore, went 33-31. They're now 6-3. That AFC North is ridiculous. Every team above 500. The bad news is though, which probably will cost them. I would think they are 6-3. They got a great defense, but I don't see how they'll make the playoffs without their quarterback Deshaun Watson, who has just announced that he's going to miss the remainder of the season with a shoulder surgery. He's going to have the surgery, I'm assuming, sometime this week. Huge blow for the Browns.
Yeah. Really, really bad blow, especially given the contract that they gave him, like $230 million guaranteed dollars. So like given the contract and given the fact that he's barely played football the last 2 seasons. Last season, I think he only played 5-6 games. This year, it's the same case. He's barely played. I think he's played like 5-6 games a season. So 12 total games played in the last 2 seasons, and now he has an injury. And even whenever he was playing, he was very iffy. And now that he's hurt, especially with a shoulder injury as a QB, it's crazy, man. Just a huge blow. But a QB that did come back from injury on Sunday was Kyler Murray. Nearly 300 total yards in his return. He had one crazy scramble.
Yeah, I saw that play.
Insane. It looked like he had played all season. If you had watched that game, you would have never known he was even out with an injury, especially a torn ACL. So the fact that he was able to lead a comeback drive against the Falcons with in my opinion a worse roster too, I think that speaks volumes to the quarterback that he actually is.
Yeah, and I don't want to pat myself on the back, but I'm going to go ahead anyway. I did say I missed the touchdowns. I said he'd have 3 total. He only had 1. He had a rushing touchdown. Actually, Clayton Tune got a 1-yard rush. I believe it was on a QB sneak because Kyler's not big enough to get in. But no, he played awesome. Nearly 300 total yards. That's what I predicted. I predicted the Cardinals would win, and they did. But yeah, good to see from him because I know there's a lot of noise of them maybe drafting a quarterback in this loaded draft class, but he's kind of trying to make a statement here going forward that, no, I'm the franchise guy. I don't need to draft anybody.
Happy to see him healthy.
Right. Niners, we both predicted they beat the Jags in Jacksonville coming off a bye in a 3-game losing streak, but I did not think they'd win 34-3. Are they back? I think they absolutely are. And the addition of Chase Young kind of breathed new life into that defense.
100%. I saw this clip on Twitter where Chase Young and Nick Bosa both collapsed on Trevor Lawrence at the exact same time. And I was like, why did the Commanders do this? Like
they got rid of Montez Sweat too, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like the rich get richer, man. So this was a much needed win. You can tell they game plan basically all week long because the Jags, they were 6-2 heading into this game on a 5-game winning streak. So you don't know what's going to happen, but to beat a team by 31 points is almost really should have been 41-3 had they not tried to force it to CMC for 4 straight plays, I think.
Yeah, I forgot about that. His touchdown streak. So it ends at, is it 18 or 16?
It ends at 17.
7, okay, right in between. Yeah, CMC 17 consecutive games with a touchdown from scrimmage, tied an NFL record, but he couldn't get it, sadly. But no, yeah, Niners look like they're back.
Yep, and a team that's slowly falling off are the Chargers. They fought at 4-5 following a loss to the Lions, 41-38. Lots of fingers to be pointed at, the roster construction and stuff like that, injuries. Maybe Herbert hasn't been as consistent as you want, but in my opinion, the main cause for concern is Brandon Staley. I don't
Yeah.
I don't like him. I think he's on a hot seat. I think he should have been going at the last season. As a matter of fact, I think he should have been
Season before.
Yeah, exactly. I think he should have been gone whenever he took that time out to allow the Raiders
Right,
to get
and just
that field
didn't
goal.
take the tie, which would have granted him a playoff spot.
Exactly. I
2
think
years ago. I completely agree.
Yeah. He's just not a good head coach, and this overall coaching staff doesn't even fit Herbert's style of play at all. The way the coaching staff has built their offense, they built their offense as if Herbert is a game manager, and like he's much more than that. He's much more talented than that. So yeah, I think Staley has to be gone, in my opinion.
Yeah, they're in must-win territory. If they don't make the playoffs as a wild card, because they could forget about the division, it's the Chiefs. As it has been for 5-6 years in a row now.
Exactly.
But yeah, they're in must-win territory, and if they don't make the playoffs, I would be shocked if Staley isn't fired. Going into our Week 11, before we get into our actual picks, our starts and sits. So some of our starts, we have Jalen Warren against the Browns. I'm gonna let you speak on this because that's your Steelers.
Oh yeah. Jalen Warren,
or Jalen Warren. I think I said Brown.
Yeah.
Jalen Warren.
Jalen Warren versus the Browns. He's RB2 behind Najee, but man, he's been great all year long. Last week versus Packers, nearly 6 yards per carry on, I want to say, 17 touches. Close to 100 total yards and a touchdown. He and Najee completely carried that game for the Steelers. They carried that offense for us last week. So I'm predicting he has another great game versus the Browns. He's at the top of the league in missed tackles and yards and yards and yards per rush after getting hit.
Contact.
Yeah. At the contact, there we go. He's top 10 or top 5 in both stats. So yeah, I'm looking for him to have a big week.
I don't know how he's not RB1 to be honest.
I
mean Najee, you want to use him, and I would think he'd be more of a power short yardage back. Najee, I know you spent a first round pick, you don't want to give up on him, but to me Warren is clearly just more explosive and the better back overall. And also, I think I said Brown because they're playing the Browns, not Jalen Brown from the Celtics. Jalen Warren against the Browns for the Steelers. Moving on, Amon-Ra, I think he's an automatic start at this point. He's a stud. Jared Goff though against the Bears, I think I like that this week. Bears
100%.
really struggling, and the Lions are coming off that shootout against the Chargers. I think their offense picks up right where it left off.
I easily agree. And another start I have real quick is a T.J. Hawkinson versus the Broncos. He's been great really all year long, but more specifically in the last 2 games, over 200 yards in the last 2 games. And then he picked apart your Saints. It seemed like every play he was open. He would run it for like 5 to 8 yards. He was crazy. So yeah, I like him versus the Broncos. And then we also have Brian Robinson Jr. and Sam Howell versus the Giants. They're also coming off 2 pretty good games. Even though they lost last week versus the Seahawks, they still played relatively well enough to warrant these starts.
Yeah, and Sam Howell, he leads the league in passing yards.
Really?
Yes. I mean, that no one would have picked that through going into week 11. All right, rounding off our starts, we got Aaron Jones against the Cardinals. Cardinals defense has been up and down to say the least. Jones is starting to get the ball more. Wait, hold up. Aaron Jones. No, the Packers play the who do they play this week? They don't play the Cardinals because I know the Cardinals play the Texans. Jones, the Packers. Who do they play this week? Green Bay. Oh, the Chargers. That's what it is. Okay, I got you. Yeah, the Chargers. Because the Chargers, their defense has been terrible. Aaron Jones, I think, goes off against them. He's starting to get the ball more. What's the dang coach's name for the Packers?
Oh yeah.
I got a picture of him now. He's got like the buzz cut. Anyway, he knows. I mean, he's pretty much said a couple weeks ago, Aaron Jones, your best weapon on offense. He's going to get
Matt
feet on
LaFleur.
the ball. Matt LaFleur, yes, thank you. So yeah, and then going into sits, both Carolina running backs, they've been awful this year. Miles Sanders
Terrible.
specifically. Chuba Hubbard's been a bright spot, but against the Cowboys, I'm not starting either one.
Yeah, and speaking of Packers, I have a sick Christian Watson versus the Chargers. He's been terrible, in terms of fantasy.
Yeah, he is.
Just not that good. And same case for Calvin Ridley. I have him as a sit versus the Titans. And then to round off our sits, we have Baker Mayfield versus the Niners. That's a bad matchup.
Yeah.
You know, Baker Mayfield, he's been relatively okay this season. But it seems that the Niners are rejuvenated, especially after that Chase Young trade, like you said. I think that's a bad matchup for the Bucs. So
Definitely.
sit Baker Mayfield this week.
And then going into, well, first, let's go into our picks. I think we forgot the last episode or two, the update. So
Yeah.
I am now 5-4-1 overall. Thank you, Troy. I get the line for this week.
Technically next week too. Because
Yeah,
he's
for
won
the
it-
last two.
Yeah,
the last
2 weeks.
Let's see, what's our records? I mean, it's still pretty close. So I'm 5-4-1.
And I'm
If we're going by
4-5-1.
week, I just took the lead. It seemed like Troy was in the lead there for a few weeks.
Yeah, I was.
Overall, I'm 97-52. Troy's 93-56. So I mean, you still are definitely right in it. Still a good portion of the season to go. But I'll get the line this week lined up. But yeah, so moving on. Let's start with just our picks in general. So Thursday Night Football tomorrow. Bengals at the Ravens. Huge AFC North implications on the line. Who do you got?
Oh yeah, I'm rolling with the Ravens. Excuse me. I know the Bengals. They even though they lost to the Texans, they did find that they are in a groove over the last 3 to 4 weeks. They were winners of 3 straight before last week. So both teams come in pretty hot. Both teams coming off a loss that they want to get back on. But I had the Ravens edging out the Bengals 28-23 in a classic AFC showdown. It would not surprise me if the score is even lower, because that's just how we get down in the AFC North.
Right.
but yeah, I do have the Ravens edging out a close game regardless though.
I think it'll be a close game. I was kind of leaning Ravens, but if you had to hold my feet to the fire right now, is what we're doing, picking picks. I'm gonna go with the Bengals. I know they're on the road. It's gonna be a tough game. I say they win probably by a field goal. But I don't see them falling to 5-5. I think this is really almost a must-win for the Bengals. They're in last place in the division, even though they have a game above 500, which is crazy. But I'm going to go an upset pick and say that the Bengals get it done in a short week in Baltimore. But I think it'll be a great game regardless.
Not a bad pick. And then moving on, another AFC matchup, Steelers and Browns. Like I said, it would not surprise me this is a low-scoring game.
Yeah,
but over the last 3 games, the Steelers' offense has shown some bright spots. Still nothing crazy, nothing fancy. There are a couple concerns, but overall, I am rocking with the Steelers over the Browns, especially with the backup QB. So give me the Steelers over Browns by 6, 26.
Yeah,
20.
that's the difference for me. If Deshaun was playing, I think I would lean Cleveland being at home, but since he's out for the year, I think TJ Watt and company gets to DTR a little too much, creates some turnovers, and I think the Steelers eke out a characteristically ugly win this year. Another one. Maybe this is the first game y'all outgain your opponent in yards.
I hope so.
DTR. But yeah, I'm gonna go Steelers in a close, low-scoring game. Kind of been their MO this year. Moving on to another noon game. Cardinals in Houston against the Texans. They're coming off that upset win at home against the Falcons. I expect it to be a close game. I think Kyler's playing well, but I do think the Texans eke out a win at home as they're really surging and in the wild card race in the AFC.
I absolutely agree. CJ Stroud, he's a stud. He's been a stud all year long. Like we said, nearly 3K passing yards, 15-2 TD INT
that is insane.
Ratio, something that hasn't been done since like Tom Brady, I believe, in 2016. So
this kid is a rookie, man.
Exactly. Like he's absolutely phenomenal. So I like the Texans in a close game. So yeah, I like the Texans a lot.
Then going into another noon game, divisional in the AFC South, Titans 3-6 at the 6-3 Jaguars. Titans are kind of on a slide. Will Levis, I mean, I think he's proven that he's got a little something going on there. They could definitely want to experiment with him more, but I just think the Jaguars are a better team at home. I think they want to get the sour taste out of their mouth of getting their butts whooped by the Niners. I say the Jags take care of business.
I absolutely agree. I think the Jags win 28-16. I think they take care of business. And I don't want to spoil my like ice cold take, but I think Lawrence has a big game. I saw a stat earlier on Twitter and like I couldn't believe it. He has less touchdowns than Justin Fields, and Fields hasn't played since like week 5.
Yeah, Trevor Lawrence. He's
Yeah, yeah.
really had him or Calvin really have not had good seasons at all, which is really shocking to me.
100%.
You could go ahead. I think probably the best way to do it, we'll just say either our locks, upsets, or ice cold as we're picking them. So
All right, cool.
go ahead
Cool.
with your ice cold.
Yeah, so my ice cold take is that Lawrence has a big game, 4 touchdowns, 350 total yards, and Christian Kirk goes for 120. That's my ice cold take, given the season that Lawrence is having.
That would be
That's
huge
my
game.
ice cold take.
Moving right along, our next game is going to be the Raiders at the Dolphins. Raiders on a 2-game win streak. Antonio Pierce breathing new life into the team. But in Miami, Dolphins coming off of a bye. Give me the Dolphins. They've taken care of business against 500 or below teams, and I think it's no different in Miami.
Yep, I absolutely agree. I see the Dolphins absolutely smashing the Raiders coming into this week. That most definitely. And then we have the Cowboys and Panthers. This is not a tough game whatsoever. This is my lock. I have the Cowboys destroying the Panthers 45-7. The Cowboys, whenever they play them 2 to 3 win teams, they start licking their chops, man.
They turn up.
So I definitely got the Cowboys. Dak Prescott probably like another 400-yard passing game, just like he did on Sunday night. So yeah, I like the Cowboys winning handily over the Panthers.
Then the 3-7 Bears at the 7-2 Detroit Lions. In Motown, give me the Lions. Keep rolling.
Easily, I absolutely agree.
And let's see, our next one is gonna be another noon game. We got the 4-5 Chargers at the 3-6 Packers. This was kind of tough for me to pick. I almost went Green Bay. They're at home. 2 struggling teams. I'll give the Chargers the benefit of the doubt. I'll say Brandon Staley saves his job for at least another week, and they pull out a close one in Green Bay. I mean, they're better than the Packers, but to me, it's just like the Chargers to lose a game like this on the road.
Yeah, absolutely.
But they're 4-5. It's a really must-win territory to climb back to 500 to stay pace with all the other AFC teams in the wild card race. So I'm gonna go Chargers.
Yep, I agree. I like the Chargers. I like the Chargers in this game by a field goal. And then we have Commanders and Giants, 2 divisional opponents. Poor Giants. Tommy DeVito is he's just not it, man.
Yeah,
so
at least
I
his
like
mom's making him chicken cutlets.
exactly. So I like the Commanders in this game. Give me them 30-10 over the Giants. Look for Sam Howell to have a pretty big game. Then
I agree with that. That's my lock of the week. Actually, is Commanders at home against the Giants.
And then we have Niners and Bucks. Like we said earlier, this is just a bad matchup for Baker Mayfield and that Bucks offense. I like the Niners scoring 35 again this week. I like them scoring 35-20 over the Bucks in Week 11.
Yeah, I don't think this game is going to be particularly close. In San Fran, Bucks just a much better team. I think that defense is going to give Baker fits. I think it'll be a blowout too. Give me the Niners big.
Yep. And we have Bills and Jets. Now this was another game I went back and forth on. The Bills are really slumping, and the Jets defense is really elite. And given the fact that the Jets did beat the Bills in Week 1, I was inclined to pick them. But at the same time, I don't think the Bills are going to get swept. Really, whenever you have two rivals in the same division, I don't think a sweep is going to happen. So I like the Bills by a field goal over the Jets.
Yeah, Bills at home. terrible loss to the Broncos. I'm sure y'all have seen, but basically they were up 22-21 at home on Monday Night Football. Broncos had a few seconds left, line up to kick the field goal for the win. They miss it wide right, but the Bills have 12 men on the field, so they just basically give them a second chance, move it up a few yards, and of course Lutz is not going to miss twice in a row. He makes it. Broncos win. So Bills in a tough spot, 5-5. No one thought they would have been here. I do think they get a gutsy win at home and bounce back against the Jets. Mm-hmm. And my ice cold take of the week. It's crazy that we're at this point, but Josh Allen, we mentioned his problems or his turnover woes. He's thrown at least one interception in 6 straight games, facing arguably the best secondary in the league in the Jets with Sauce Gardner and company. But I'm gonna say the Bills win. Not only do they win, I'm gonna say Josh Allen avoids throwing a pick. Now, he might lose a fumble. He leads the league in those two. But I'm going to say he doesn't throw a pick and the Bills get a win.
That's not bad. I like that. That's a pretty funny one as well. We also had the Seahawks and Rams, another divisional opponents going back and forth. But and the Seahawks, they do have a tendency to play down to the competition. But I think the quarterback play here will be the difference. I think Matt Stafford is still out, if I'm not mistaken.
He's questionable.
Questionable?
Yes, he is questionable.
I'm gonna still roll with the Seahawks. I have them winning by a touchdown, 25-19.
See, this is my upset. You're probably gonna be right, but this is my upset pick of the week. Interdivision game. Rams coming off a bye week. Matthew Stafford as well as Puka Nacua get a chance to rest up. Both of those guys are listed as questionable. But I'm going to go with the Rams. Just my upset pick of the week. Kind of got a feeling at home. I say they come out off the bye week and get an upset win over Seattle.
Not a bad pick. And this game, Broncos and Vikings really struggled with this one as well.
Yeah, it's a tough game.
But I think the Broncos ride the wave. They let Russ cook once more, and they win by a field goal, 24-21 over the Vikings.
I'm gonna agree. The Vikings are on a 5-game win streak. Started 1-4, now they're 6-4. Possibly get Jettis back. Broncos defense is really picking it up lately. Wilson's playing good football in Denver. I think it'll be a close game, but I think Josh Dobbs, at least for a week, runs out of a little magic. And I agree. I think the Broncos win a close one on Sunday Night Football at Mile High.
Yep, and this is my upset pick of the week. The Eagles and Chiefs. The Eagles the Chiefs are favored in this game by 3 points, and I know it's not much, but it's my upset. It's my upset of the week. Give me the Eagles over the Chiefs by a field goal. I think this will be a close game, and I think they get some type of revenge for losing the Super Bowl.
I could see that happening, but I'm going to go with the Chiefs. Both teams coming off bye weeks. Kind of interesting they scheduled byes. I don't know I guess that was planned maybe before facing each other in the Super Bowl rematch. I'm going to go with the Chiefs by a field goal just because they're at Arrowhead. I think Mahomes has a bounce-back week. Because they lost to the Broncos, right, 2 weeks ago going into the bye. I think the Chiefs bounce back and make it 2 in a row over Philly.
Not bad. I like it. It should be a close game. I could see it going either way, honestly. And I believe that's it. I think we knocked out everything. Before we close out real quick, we do want to shout out the Lady Lion volleyball team for winning 20 straight games. That's insane. I think that's a Southland record. 20 straight games is incredible. Tournament weekend starts this Saturday. They do have a 2-round bye. So I think they play Saturday.
Yes, in the semifinals.
Yep.
Already booked a spot in the semis because of the 1 seed. Exactly. Went 17-1 in conference, 26-4. So yeah, we'll play in the semi Saturday, and then hopefully when we advance, the championship will be on Sunday in Corpus Christi. Also, like to give a shout out, obviously, to the whole team. I mean, just spectacular season. But Coach Jeremy White just took home Southern Conference Coach of the Year today. They gave out all the awards end of regular season. He won Coach of the Year. Shout out Coach White, tremendous job turning around this program. Newcomer of the Year in the Southland was Rachel Hartman. She's been a huge addition. Has had a superb season, really, as well as the rest of the team. Who else am I missing? Kaylin Newsom. MVP of the tournament last year. Her third year at Southeastern. All 3 years she's been All Southland. She was the first team selection announced today. And then Cicely Hidalgo, same thing. This is her third year here. All 3 years she's been an All Southland team member. And she was on the second team. So shout out to those 3 girls and Coach White, but as well the rest of the team as well. Gracie Dupleshin, I know, won Setter of the Week, I believe, her third time this year.
Yeah, and Jacqueline Arlington has played some great ball this season.
She has as well. I mean, really the whole squad. So
really
best
deep
of
team.
luck. Yeah, best of luck to them. 20-game win streak I read today. It's the fourth largest active streak in the entire country. So I mean, it's just can't say enough about them. And then the 2 huge games in Southeastern Athletics. I mentioned the River Bell at 6 p.m. tomorrow. Pack the Berry against Nichols, but then the big one, Lady Lion basketball 2-1. Just put the smack down on Southern New Orleans last night, 90-30. Moved the 2-1. We host the reigning national champions, the LSU Tigers, at the University Center Friday at 7 p.m. I think tickets are already sold out.
They are.
If you're seeing this now, I'm sorry, but
sold out.
It will be on ESPN Plus, and I actually have the pleasure of getting the call of the game, so I'm excited for that. A little nervous
Should be
too,
good, man.
but I'm excited.
Over 7,500 people will be in the Pride Roofing University.
Yeah, a packed UC is going to be crazy to see. Hopefully it's more SLU fans, but I'm sure LSU will travel well. But, man, that's going to be awesome.
Can't wait.
But, yeah, that'll do it for the Lions Den Sports Podcast. I'm Chase Gispert.
And I'm Troy Allen.
And we'll see y'all next week.
Peace.
Peace.
All right.
Sweet.